high school party. Which that part I don't mind, because even still, I have no desire to go to a party, to be quite frank. Like, it's just not really, that's not, I mean, I don't care. I went to homecoming my sophomore year. I completely hated it. I didn't go to prom, and I won't be going to prom this year. I mean, I could go to prom this year, like, if I went with one of my friends or something, because, you know, officially transferred because